shooting from obscurity to fame as the featured artist on Disclosure's Latch in 2012, a global smash hit that showcased their distinctively stirring high tenor. Sam Smith has since become one of pop's most prominent balladeers, taking cues from soul belters like Aretha Franklin and Chaka Khan, followers such as Amy Winehouse and Adele, and their own church upbringing. Smith effectively arrived as a headliner, with 2014's In the Lonely Hour, multi-platinum, in the singer's native UK and the US. The album also garnered Best New Artist and 3 additional Grammys among a slew of accolades. Smith followed up with 2017's The Thrill of It All, a heartsick album favoring Southern soul and gospel, and by the end of the 2010s had accumulated 6 #1 UK singles as a headliner: Money on My Mind, Stay With Me, and Lay Me Down, followed by the Academy Award-winning James Bond theme, Writings on the Wall, Too Good at Goodbyes, and the Calvin Harris collaboration, Promise. The singer entered the next decade with a handful of additional top 20 UK singles that led to 2020's Love Goes, followed by the Grammy-winning Unholy, and its parent album, 2023's Gloria. That same year also saw collaborations with Madonna, Vulgar, and Charlie XCX. Smith's next solo work was the 2025 single Love Is a Stillness. Before their commercial breakthrough at the age of 21, the London-born singer and songwriter balanced their studies in music, sang in choirs and in bands, and performed in musical theater productions. They developed a passionate approach to singing inspired by their Catholic upbringing and numerous soul legends, and in the late 2000s headlined a couple low-profile independent singles, Bad Day All Week and When It Is All Right. Smith was barely out of their teens when, in late 2012, they reached a much larger audience as the featured vocalist on Disclosure's Latch. A powerful and loping mixture of UK garage and contemporary dance pop, the song went to number 11 in the UK, where it also went platinum. Over in the US, it took significantly longer to take hold, but eventually hit number 7 there and was certified platinum 3 times over. The singer's first major label solo single, released in February 2013, went in a more adult contemporary direction, produced by Jimmy Napes and Steve Fitzmaurice. Lay Me Down recalled the pared-down ballads that had proved successful for Adele, another artist Smith admired. Only 3 months later, producer-songwriter Shahid Naughty Boy Khan followed his Emily Sand-fronted UK top 10 hit Wonder, with La 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 featuring a lead vocal from Smith, who had just finished a series of dates in support of Sanda. It was an instant #1 UK hit and reached number 19 in the States. That October, Smith issued the Nirvana EP, which included Lay Me Down and an acoustic version of Latch. By the end of February 2014, they were back on top of the UK chart with Money on My Mind, a single marrying their relaxed vocal with a frenetic production from 2-inch Punch. Smith's debut long player, In the Lonely Hour, followed that May in the UK and topped the album chart. It arrived in the US the following month and peaked at number 2 there. The singles Stay With Me, I Am Not the Only One, and Lay Me Down hit the top 10 in both the UK, and Us, the number 2 seller of 2014 in the UK, and Us, behind only respective LPs by Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift. In the Lonely Hour led to awards from organizations as varied as the Brits, Billboard, BET, and the Recording Academy. Smith almost swept the Big 4 Grammy categories by winning Best New Artist, as well as Song of the Year and Record of the Year, the latter 2 for the Darkchild version of Stay With Me, produced by Rodney Jerkins. In the Lonely Hour didn't win Album of the Year, but it did take the award for Best Pop Vocal Album. In 2015, Smith recorded another Disclosure collaboration, Omen, eventually placed on the production duo's Caracol. Smith also earned the honor of being chosen to record the theme for a James Bond film. Writings on the Wall, recorded for Spectre, was the first Bond theme to go to number 1 in the UK. An expanded version of In the Lonely Hour, the Drowning Shadows edition, was released that November with new material, and previously released stray tracks added to the original album. Following Golden Globe and Academy Award wins for Writings on the Wall, Smith spent most of 2016 and early 2017 in the studio recording their follow-up album with previous collaborators Jimmy Napes and Steve Fitzmaurice. Too Good at Goodbyes, the lead single from Smith's second album, was issued in September 2017. The ballad went to number 1 in the UK and the top 5 in the US just before its parent release. The Thrill of It All entered the UK and US charts at number 1. The promotional campaign wound down the next year, and Smith continued with singles across the remainder of 2018 and into 2019. These included 3 more top 10 UK hits: the chart-topping Calvin Harris collaboration Promises, the Normani duet, Dancing with a Stranger, also top 10 US, and How Do You Sleep. Strides toward Smith's third album continued in 2020 with To Die For, which peaked in the UK at number 18, preceded by a couple of additional top 20 entries. I Am Ready featuring Demi Lovato and Diamonds. Love Goes arrived that October, reaching number 2 in the UK and hitting number 5 on the Billboard 200. Determining to not make another album filled with romantic sorrow, Smith designed Gloria, their fourth full-length, as a wider-scoped affair both lyrically and sonically. Lead single Love Me More arrived in April 2022 and was followed 5 months later by Unholy, a slinking collaboration with Kim Petras that Smith produced with Jimmy Napes, Circuit, Ilya, Blake Slatkin, and Omer Fedi. Shortly after the release of Unholy, Smith performed at London's Royal Albert Hall and included their new song in the set excerpted for the Live from the Royal Albert Hall EP. Unholy topped the UK and US pop charts, and, just weeks after Gloria's January 2023 release, earned Smith and Petras the Grammy Award for Best Pop Duo Group Performance. His output for the remainder of the year was similarly collaborative, beginning with Vulgar, a one-off single featuring Madonna, followed by an appearance on Calvin Harris' Desire, and a track, In the City, with Charlie 100. Smith returned in early 2025 with the solo cut Love Is a Stillness.